Hey, world. What's going on, man? Ladies, gentlemen, citizens of the universe, human beings, animals, aliens, I don't care. Hey, I appreciate y'all tuning in. This is episode 40 of the Real Resilience Talk podcast. Self-produced, self-made, never gonna get paid for it. Just trying to get some word out to people and spread some good cheer and hopefully spread some good word into somebody's ear out there. I will ask that if this is helping you or someone you know out there, please share it. Obviously, please rate it. It helps it get out there and get in circulation more. That's something I'm learning. But I don't monetize. That's why I don't do ads. I'll never do ads unless they force me to. But Spotify for podcasts has helped me out a whole lot with this whole thing. So that's it. That's just showing gratitude. That's not an ad. But hey, this is the sounds of my Chi Rex right here with Second Winds. We're going to get into it again, my friends. Here we go. All right. So out the gate, today, where I'm at in 27 May, it's a Monday, is Memorial Day in the United States. So I gotta say thank you. Just thank you to all those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. We get to continue on. We get to continue living. Whether you love or you like or agree with everything everyone does or says, that's cool. That's your opinion. But the fact that we have the freedom to do these things and say our things and everything else, all of the great amendments that we have and the Constitution that we have, the framework, that obviously we're not perfect, but it allows us to, I would argue, try to be the best version of ourselves. And I'm just saying thank you. Thank you to all those who have gone before us and all those who are willing to answer the call of service in whatever shape or form it is. Specifically today, we're thinking about those from our armed forces, but just all who have sacrificed for us to be here today. Again, not perfect, but this life is worth it, and I am grateful for it. So I just want to say thank you, and I think it's important that we don't just say thank you on Memorial Day, but we say thank you every day. And for some of us, we have to allow those we've lost to live through us as best we can. And on the subject of mourning and grieving, we never really get over it. Don't expect to. Don't think you ever will. I don't think we ever will, truly, ever really get over it. As I often share and paraphrase and speak on what General Neller had wrote in the mental wellness letter a few years back about we never really get over it, but we have to live with it, to cope with it, to not be disabled by it. And as he goes on to say, pain shared. I don't know what I just said. Pain shared is pain divided. So, be there for each other and help each other through it. And don't let any of us get to the point where we make a permanent decision over temporary circumstances. And if you lost people, you know that this whole life is temporary. This whole being on this planet is temporary. I've said that oftentimes before on here. You look through history, theology, geology, it doesn't really matter. This too shall pass. So, with all that said, up front, thank you to those who have sacrificed for us. Moving right along, I also want to make an announcement that a project I got to the privilege to contribute to, it's out on the street. It's ready. It's available for reading, and I will post the link in the show notes, and you can download it. It's totally free. There's no subscriptions. There's no nothing like that. It's just something tangible, tools-wise, to put in your toolbox, and that is the Marine Corps Warfighter Mental Readiness Playbook. It's not going to be the end-all answer to everything. It's not going to solve every issue you got going on, but it is a good place to start. I would suggest everyone, no matter if you're affiliated with the Marines or the Armed Forces or anybody, read it cover to cover. There are so many good resources in there, or just ways to kind of inspire you wherever you're at in your sphere of influence to be a better, leader and confidant to those around you. To me, I read it. I see parenting advice in there. I see big brother advice. I see advice for anyone that's in any job or occupation or of service. It doesn't matter. There's just so much in there that, yeah, I'm biased. I had a play in it, not all play in it. No, there was much smarter people on it working on it. But I will say this: I know all of them, and they are all genuine, good-natured people that really care. As I've said before, they have that gaff, that give a fuck. They sincerely give a fuck. They give a foxtrot for other people, and I mean accredited people, doctors, and just caregivers, and just some experts really came together on this. Yes, you'll find some little typos, some little space, some this, that, and word like this or what. And look, nothing's fucking perfect, okay? So I'm not going to at all say that this is going to fix everything for you, but it could be just something else to throw into your toolbox to make things better of where you're at in your sphere of influence, right? But I want to echo what our great general, our great commandant, our leader has said in there, is that, you know, it will not take the place of engaged leadership, kneecap to kneecap mentorship and engagement. So it's not going to be an easy out for anybody. This is tough stuff. We're talking about mental wellness. We're talking about overall wellness. We're talking about extracting the full potential of human beings, whether they are Marines or just average old people. I'm telling you, this stuff can really help a lot of people. I feel confident. Again, I'm a little biased, but we need to all have a environment that is connected, is cohesive, and is inclusive. Team, family, all of that. It can't just be a talking point. It can't just be something we throw around. Oh, family, all that kind of stuff. It's got to be real. It's got to be genuine. And people know when you're faking it. So in there, even there's a quote from the great James Baldwin that made it in there. The great James Baldwin. If you don't know who he is, look him up. But a courageous leader. And one of the things it says in there, talking about people that aren't genuine, and it's a quote on page 3 of this document. It says, "I can't believe what you say because I see what you do." Right? So anyone out there, y'all have heard me before describe leadership and a leader as anyone, any human being that is affecting a situation or another person or a group of people. That's it. That's my definition of leader, right? Now, there's definitely ways and things on the spectrum of good or bad, right? But that can be from anywhere to where you're the shift leader or you're just happening to work in the drive-through at whatever job you're at. You're affecting the situation, which is in fact is impacting. It could be infecting too, because, you know, depending on how that goes. But hygiene, right? Sanitation. But in all seriousness, you're impacting people in a situation. So therefore, in that moment, you're a leader, right? And it's the same if you are an older sibling or maybe the younger sibling, or you're somebody who steps in, or maybe you're the lead of the head of Joint Chiefs of Staff, or you're the honorable Mr. or Mrs. and you're a commander and whatever, all the way down to just, you know, a recruit in boot camp on Firewatch. You're impacting people and you're impacting the situation. So that doesn't mean you're doing good. That just means you are leading. So in saying that, as leaders, because we all find ourselves in these situations where we're leaders, we can't have toxic behaviors and toxic environments that undermine our cohesion together. And in there it says it's every leader's responsibility to seek and destroy. Seek and destroy. That is some strong language right there. All behaviors which undermine connectedness. All behaviors, right? And we have to eliminate the stigma. And ways to do that, to eliminate stigma and seeking help or in being vulnerable enough to say, I need help, is to you yourself model the right behavior and share things. And maybe you haven't been down that gauntlet of things or whatever, but to at least say that there's an open mind and it's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay, to quote my good friend Jose, to stay that way. I love you, Jose. I appreciate all you do, brother. I heard him say that recently when I was in North Carolina. He said, it's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay that way. And we know when we're on the fringe, we have to pull ourselves back. So it's incumbent, it's your responsibility upon every leader to develop great competence in taking care of your people, the minds, bodies, and spirits entrusted to you. They're entrusted to you. And that begins with empathy and being genuine and caring. And I'm just looking at one page on this so far, y'all. I just highlighted some things and just some stuff that just jumped out at me. But we need an environment that encourages and promotes help-seeking behavior. Because literally, when we take care of our warfighters, when we take care of our people, when we take care of our teachers, when we take care of the people that stock the shelves and whatever job they're working at, you in turn take care of whatever the mission is, the job, right? And, you know, I listened to Brene Brown recently talk about it in the Daring Greatly book. And I've also heard some great people I work with say it too. We always have time on the back end when shit goes wrong, because we have to make fucking time for it, whether it's in what we do, like we have incident cases, and we have non-judicial punishments and Navy captain's masses, and we have all this punitive things that take up so much fucking time. And in the middle of it, there's usually some hurt people in the situation, which you can't always repair or fix or take back, right? And then you literally lose people, and you lose so much manpower hours in whatever field or industry you're in. Then you have to rehire somebody else. You have to find somebody else. You have to retrain somebody else. You got to, you know, all of that just capital that you've invested into that person is gone. And also they are hurt and affected. So obviously free will, people can make their own choices. It's not your fault, right, that everybody chooses the way they do, but it's our responsibility to set as best of an environment to where they can thrive, not only survive, but also thrive, and be their best selves. And when they are their best selves and we're invested in them on a personal level, and we give a fuck about our people, you just make a better warfighter, you make a better employee, you make a better athlete, you make a better human, right? And, you know, it's that connectedness, it's that bonding, which I argue is probably maybe the most important thing in this whole world, which leads to love and genuine love and care for each other. So I know for some that's like kumbaya shit and like, you know, I ain't got time for all that. I ain't got time for it. Okay, well, you're definitely going to have time or have to make time on the back end when shit goes wrong, or you're not getting the full potential out of somebody when they're working with you or working on the certain task or the job or the mission or the family or whatever it is. It's all the same, right? On the field of play or at the workplace or whatever it is, your kids, your family, your Marines, your sailors, whatever the case may be, fill in the blank. You're going to have to make time because you're responsible for them when things go wrong and when they don't live up to their best. So why don't we pay it forward and stay left of bang and try to make our best impacts as we can and have some connectedness and some cohesion? I know I'm beating a dead horse with that. I know I'm driving that point into the ground, but we always have to make time on the back end to play cleanup. Why not just do a little prep work ahead of time, right? As best we can, right? But in doing as best you can, there is this tool, this playbook that will not fix everything. It won't take the place of engaged leadership, but it may help you engage better. There's a lot of things in here on the effects of stress. One of the favorite things I love is that it says on here on page 4, stress is not the enemy. Stress is not the enemy. Stress is not the enemy. And in most cases, it can make individuals and teams stronger and better. However, it's important to recognize that us as people recognize when they are being pushed to a breaking point beyond their level of personal resilience. Just as critical, leaders must set a positive environment that allows, it says Marines here, but this could be people or anyone, to engage in self-care and recover from prolonged periods of stress. Okay? So the value of connected, cohesive, inclusive team cannot be overstated. Yes, this is written for the Marine Corps, and it's a Marine Corps publication, and Marine Corps Warfighter Mental Readiness Playbook. I'll post it in the notes. You know me. If you follow me on social media, I'll probably post it to the point of nauseum to where you're like, why does he keep reposting it? Well, because somebody probably overlooked it last time. I don't know. I'm going to repost it because it might help somebody. And if that's too much, well, just skim past it or do whatever you got to do, or just don't be friends with me or follow me or whatever. But I'm going to keep trying to put out as good or useful tools as possible. That's what I'm going to try to do until I can't. But this is just a tool. All right. So this is just a tool, and we don't know what we don't know. So I don't diss anybody for their ignorance. We just don't know. Like I haven't always been hip to these things, y'all. I haven't always had this open mind, this open heart, I just haven't. I've evolved. I've grown. I've learned the extent of my ignorance, and I've tried to improve over the time, but I am far from perfect. So don't hear me wrong. I'm just saying the person y'all hear now and you hear on these 39 other episodes, and some of y'all heard me speak publicly and things of that nature, that has not always been me. And I was so not with it And I was like, what is this Kumbaya Care Bear shit? We ain't got, like, stop being soft, or all of the other things that people like to say. But I myself have been humbled by life, and I've learned things, and I've lost people, and I've almost lost myself, as I've shared on here before in some of the other episodes. So before we ourselves or anyone else gets to that point, let's stay ahead of it. Let's help each other through it. There's some really good tools in here. And it's for anybody who's a leader, regardless of your rank, your billet, your title, or anything. We have to stay left of bang. And it even says in here, it talks about like big time, CEOs and sergeants major and like the big bosses of stuff, listing the CEO or the top managers or top whoever they are, of CFOs, whatever industry or whatever. It actually says the people at the leaders at the more middle management and lower levels are arguably more critical than the big dogs, the command team, in creating professional, caring environments. Because you can recognize the warning signs sooner, and if you can know your people, so that way we can have intervention as soon as possible before it becomes a permanent. We can kind of try to fix it as best we can. So that's my plug for that. I really hope y'all check it out. I could do so many episodes just dedicated to this whole document, but I won't. To spare y'all. But one of the things that I personally got to get a good play on, I do want to share from it. The last thing I'll share from it is that we always focus on negative with things, and we think about, how do we avoid getting bad, and how do we avoid getting bad? Well, we took a different approach, and we looked at, and I got this from Dr. Alex Korb. He had a book called The Upward Spiral, and we look at the downward spiral so often. But in here, I got to work with some really, really just awesome humans, doctors, like really accredited people that aren't just rocking their piece of paper. They always want to go by first name. They're just cool, down to earth people, but they're accredited is what I'm saying. We have a page on the upward spiral, and in there it talks about spiritual fitness, physical fitness, mental fitness, social fitness, self-actualization, self-improvement, practicing healthy habits, and radical acceptance. Radical acceptance is a conscious effort to acknowledge and honor difficult situations and emotions. You deal with it, right? You accept it. Feelings are just that, feelings and not facts. Roll with them instead of fighting them. You'll feel better as best we can, right? And these other things on here. I had a good friend of mine, a mentor of mine, a very good comedian and hilarious veteran out there. I don't know if she wants to be named, so I'll keep her unnamed for now, but she knows who she is. She's a great person and a great light in this world. But she had brought up when she saw this document, she said, why is self-actualization like low on it, right? Because we think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I was like, that's a really good thing to point out, right? It's just kind of where it got stacked at, right? In the little thing. And some of this was based on, you'll see, if you see the graphic, the width of the words to fit into this spiral design or whatever. But, in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization and things of that are at the top, because you have to take care of all those other really primary needs, right? Like food, shelter, etc. You can look it up yourself. I don't want to misquote the man. There's some great stuff. Abraham Maslow looked that up to understand some things. But this whole thing in the end is to try to give people tools and a way to stay left, and not just like, don't hurt yourself, but also to live your best life. Like Dr. Craig Bryant said, and we can't just tell people don't die. We got to give them a life worth living as best we can, right? So, and that's very imperative in a quote unquote peacetime. We're not in full on blow on campaigns right now in the military, right? In the services, in the Department of Defense. So some people can feel stagnant. They can feel that they can become a cog in the wheel, or they feel like, I joined to do all this and this and this and this and this, and I'm not doing those things. So what now? And they can stagnate, right? There's ways to stay ahead of that. There's ways as leaders we can get creative and try to challenge them, not just mess with them or like to the point of like hazing just to mess with them because you have extra time, but to do constructive things that make them, stay calloused and stay hard and stay disciplined instead of stagnating, because we don't want to do that. And as a great man, Thomas Haas said to me before, stagnation leads to degradation. So we got to keep on flowing, like water. And, I've said it many times on here, Bruce Lee, running water never grows stale. So you just got to keep flowing. And that's the thing it says right there with the radical acceptance. Roll with them. Roll with the feelings. Be water, my friend. Try to deal with them and flow with the feelings instead of fighting them, right? And why do I feel like this? Why do I feel like this? It can make you feel worse, right? And then on the flip side of that, on page 17, page 16 is some more tools, but page 17 is the downward spiral. And how people get to a point and we go, why would they get to that point of wanting to hurt themselves or hurt someone else? Well, you just, if you've been there, you can understand, you can relate. I look at myself back, I guess about 7 years ago now or so. or so, and more than that, younger years, just the suicidal ideations and a few attempts. I look back and I go, wow, man, how did you get there? And it wasn't overnight. It's a buildup, and it really is a downward spiral. And you just want the pain to stop, and you feel like you're doing other people favors. So whether that's rational to someone else or not, hey, you just want the pain to stop. So we let's do our best to not let ourselves get there, and to be knowing our people as best we can, so we can prevent our people from getting there. And I will also say, as far as leaders, I've been trying to say this a lot lately, is to know your people. We say in the Marine Corps, we have a leadership principle called it's word for word, know your Marines, look out for their welfare. That's one of the leadership principles, right? From there, inspired by the great Colonel DeWolf, rest in peace, Wolfie, rest in paradise. I love you, I miss you, we all do. I learned from him 4 F's. So if you're a leader out there, listen, please listen to this. 7 F's, okay? 7 F's. I'm weird about even numbers. I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious. But 757. I love it. Just had some other things to take and add to it. But the inspiration for this comes directly from the great Colonel DeWolf. May you rest in peace and in victory. We love you. We miss you. But talking about knowing your Marines and looking out for their welfare, knowing your people and looking out for their welfare, right? You need to know these 7 F's about your people. You need to know where they're from, like sincerely where they are from, not just the city and state. And you guys can talk about, liking similar teams or similar cultural things from where you're from, but I'm talking about where are they from? What was their landscape where they were? Are they from an urban area? Are they from a desolate area? Are they from a trailer park? Are they from a house? Did they live in a connected housing? Did they live in Section 8 housing? Did they live in trailer parks? Again, like, what was they actually from, right? What's their socioeconomic status? Siblings in their situation? Relatives? Like, what is it like where they're actually from on a day-to-day, right? Get to know where they're really from, right? The next one is family. It ties into from, and all of these are interconnected like the Olympic rings. So please know that. You go, well, that could have been with this one or that one. Just hear me out, okay? They're all interconnected, right? But family, do they want one? Do they have one? What was theirs? What is their definition of family? Because some people, especially those coming into the armed forces, adverse childhood experiences, look those up. Adverse childhood experiences. You can look it up with cdc.gov. They explain it in there. But people come searching for a family, right? And recently I got... I don't know why they put my ugly face on Instagram, but they put a video out and I was talking about this subject. I talked about all of these subjects, but this was the one that got for the soundbite, was about the from and the family. There was other ones too. So just understanding that about them. So that's 2 of the F's, from and family, and then finances. Finances, especially in the West. I'd argue anywhere in the world, right? But in our, capitalist society, it holds a lot of weight. It holds a lot of weight, and it can have a great positive or a great negative impact on somebody's life. So I'm not saying you need to violate any privacy laws or anything like that, but you need to understand that your people, where are they at with finances? What is their knowledge of finances? Do they understand how to save money, how to invest money, all of that good stuff? I never knew that stuff growing up. It was just, hide the money in your sock. Hide the money in the sock drawer. But it doesn't accrue interest? Money in the sock drawer, right? And then with inflation, you're probably losing money, right? You bury a can of money in the backyard. Like, it sounds good, but like, it loses value, right? Because of the dollar and et cetera, et cetera. I didn't know all of that. And some of your people may not as well, no matter where you work at or where you serve at. So that's 3 of them: from, family, finance. The other one is future. What are their future goals? Do they have them? And if they don't, then why not? What are they looking for in their future? Can you help them with that? If you're in the armed forces, are they looking for, eventually like moving up in the enlisted ranks or the officer ranks or becoming an officer or getting a degree? Or are they looking to, just stay in for a little while and get what they can while they can and do the best they can to serve and then branch out and go entrepreneurship? Or how can you best prepare them for that? And you'll be surprised what you can learn at the same time, right? It's kind of like leading an exercise session. You got to lead it so you're getting stronger while you're making them stronger at the same time. So there's something right there, future. How can you help them? Here's one. First Amendment, I love it. Faith. Is faith a subject to them? What do they believe in spiritually? Because it matters. What gets us out of bed every morning? I've said on here before, and I'll say it again, being a father is a spiritual thing for me. That Constitution is a spiritual thing to me. If I don't show up, I could potentially mess up and not own up to both of those things I just named. Defending that Constitution and being a father. Those are just two things for me that are spiritual for me. When your body gives out, your mind is still stressed, what keeps you going? It could be organized religion. It could be the traditional faith systems. And good for you if that is, right? But it's not solely just that. What do they have faith in? And that's not to violate anything or to be too nosy, but it's to know your fucking people and to show that you give a fuck about them. Maybe they have a faith base that is very unique, and you can help them find somewhere where they could best worship that, right? Where they could best get that type of faith group facilitated to them, because that's part of their tribe, what they come from. There we are, interconnected again, right? Because then the faith and the from, they kind of flirt together, right? They're connected to each other. So you got to know what about people. And if you're in the armed forces, or if you're in the Marine Corps specifically, if you don't feel like answering or asking that question because this is not your jam, I'd say you're missing an opportunity to potentially understand your people a little bit. But you could just go to their basic training record or look at their dog tag, because it says it right there, right? But just to understand them. You never know how it may be able to help you help them later on, right? And then here's another F, fun. What do they do for fun? Because I'm going to be real with you. Some people don't understand anything for fun. They work hard. They understand play hard. And for them, getting fucked up off alcohol and watching Pornhub and playing video games is what they know. And scrolling social media all day and all night and playing comparison games in their head. That's what they know is release. That's what they know is fun. So how can we tap into that and give them more options for fun? If you're a fisherman, if you love fishing, you love fly fishing, you never fucking knew you liked it until you fucking did it. If you like poetry, if you like expressing yourself, if you like reading, if you like, you didn't know you fucking liked it until you fucking did it. Or maybe until you did it again. So how are we providing platforms of opportunity for them to be able to find new ways to literally have fun and have healthy outlets to express themselves? I'm not a prohibitionist. I've said it before. That shit led to gangster movies and to the development of NASCAR. So people gonna do what they want to do, man. Okay. But is that all they know to fucking do? Right? Because for years and years and years, that's all I knew to do. It was before Bluetooth speakers. So we get a computer speaker and a fucking Discman and just listen to CDs and get fucking hammered until the point of who knows what, right? Many of regrets, many of just guilt and shame. But that's what I knew. That's what I knew. I was providing for my family. I had a job. They had health insurance. The fuck you gonna tell me? So what if I drink a whole bottle of Crown tonight? I fucking bought it, right? Like, I'm being a man. You know what I'm saying? That was my idea. That was my mentality. That was me, right? Friends, the last F, friends. We've all heard, and I heard actually Chris Williams said it, with a composition of the 5 podcasts we listen to. But back to Jim Rohn, it's literally the 5 people that we're around the most. That's usually who we become. Right? Because we influence each other, and people need people. And that's not because you are weak or you're so much of a follower. It's just your environment. It's who you surround yourself with. So who are they calling friends? Are they hanging out with the right crowd? Are these the best people that's going to bring out the best of them? Are they fucking crabs in a bucket? Are they bringing them the fuck down? Right? You got to know that about them. And you got to know these 7 F's about yourself. And these things change and evolve all of the time. So we're talking about leadership, and we're talking about knowing your people and genuine give a fuck and caring. There is a tool to get to know them. And if you say you know your people and you're looking out for their welfare, no matter what industry you're in, if you're a leader, right, this is your kids, this is anybody, your spouse. Like, I looked at some of these questions, I was like, damn, I don't even know these. Like, I don't know if I know all of these about some of the people I say I love in my life, right? But it's just a basic tool, all right? 7 F's, from, family, finance, future, faith, fun, friends. Again, I added a little bit to it, my own little twist on it, but that is inspired and originally provided to me from Colonel DeWolf. He has to be my 4 F's when I first got to meet him, so he could get to know me. And just a great man, and rest in peace to him. Furthermore, reiteration and proof of, if you love life, don't waste time, for time is what life is made up of. We've all lost people. That's what Memorial Day's for. We're thinking about those we've lost, right? And we never really get over it. But how can we learn from it? And how can we allow them to shine through us every single day? And that's hard. That's hard, but it's something we have to do because we're here. Do our best to honor them. That's how I can make sense of it. I don't know. Teach your own on that, right? Talking about self-care and taking care of yourself, right? I heard from an awesome doctor recently, Dr. Cross. I love you. You're awesome. You're amazing. We were having a conversation led by another doctor that is a mentor of mine, and he was explaining emotional intelligence and how to have primal leadership. I'm gonna look that book up too, Primal Leadership. I haven't got to read it yet, but it's definitely on my, I think I ordered it. It's probably on my shelf that I need to read. But primal leadership, but it's essentially, emotional intelligence is what we're getting at. But this very wise doctor that I serve with, she has said that a lack of self-care leads to burnout, right? We all hear self-care, but we rarely really make it a full priority, right? And I'm guilty of this, and I'm sure a lot of you listeners out there are as well. But this is what happens. Self-care, or lack thereof, leads to burnout. And when you get burnt out, I never heard it put like this, so here it comes. It leads to a lack of empathy in you. You will lack empathy around those that you are supposed to care for, whether you're in a formal leadership position, or if you're a parent or a friend. I think we've all been in a position where we have a fuck ton of shit on our plate, and somebody comes to us with some shit, and they're like, yo, I'm going through this thing, or I got this thing, and you listen. And even though your heart is warm and tender, and you are a compassionate, empathetic person, and you give a fuck about your people, at that moment, with the amount of shit that you have on your plate, your whole soul rolls its eyes at this person, right? And I mean this in a way of no reference towards females or gender or dogs or animals or gender or anything. But you go in your head like, bitch, please, get the fuck out of here. Bitch, please. You got some shit going on? Let me tell you, motherfucker, what the fuck I got going on. I don't know about you. That's how it goes for me, okay? So teach their own on that, but it's another reason to think about why self-care is important, and why you have to, in your time of being unselfish and wanting to affect and impact others, you need to safeguard yourself and have boundaries, right? Because lack of boundaries will lead to resentment, and will lead to tension, and will lead to toxic stuff between you and other people. And it's just the way it is. So I'm really trying my best to learn that, and to have, what's that B word? My wife always tells me I suck at it. Balance, right? So I'm trying, right? But again, that's why self-care could be important, especially when you're impacting others. And I'd argue that all of us in some way, shape, or form are impacting other humans in this world. So self-care is important. If you don't have it, it will lead your situation to burnout, and burnout will lead to you not having as much empathy as you should. And even though you want to, you just can't, because you're like reaction, like somebody pulls your hair or something, or hits your funny bone, you go, motherfucker, you know what I mean? Or you go, oh, what the fuck? Like, you really got some shit going on? You got a whole lot of shit on your plate, huh? And you might not say that at that moment, but you know your fucking soul, the inside of you, is jumping out of your skin like, shut the fuck up. You think you got a problem? But we wouldn't have been there. We wouldn't have got to that point, maybe, if we weren't so overwhelmed and having a lack of self-care. So take with that as you will. But it's something in almost 40 years of being on this planet, I did not understand, I didn't know until this nice lady, Dr. Cross, said it a few weeks ago. And I said, damn, that's really good. So put that in your toolbox. All right. Here's another thing too. I talk a lot about this Constitution that I love, and that is a spiritual thing for me. Just remember, y'all, there's 27 amendments in that thing. So, nothing is perfect, right? Nothing is perfect. 27 amendments. Some of the amendments are just canceling out other amendments that already was an amendment before, right? My point there in expressing that is, we're thinking of Memorial Day. People have died for that thing that is imperfect, but it holds us together, and it will be ever evolving. And it's a breathing document, but it's still the framework of the freedoms that we hold true, and what many other people have modeled, and other nations across the world have modeled to keep their stuff intact as well. Is it perfect? Is any place, any imaginary border system or anything, is it ever perfect? No, nothing is perfect on this world. Okay. That's why I'm emphasizing that. So, give yourself a break sometimes. Don't be so hard on yourself. Be careful of how your self-talk is to yourself. Right. I'm trying to get better at that, because I make a lot of jokes sometimes. And I'll be honest, I think I'm dumb a lot of fucking times. I really do. And that helps me sometimes when I'm like, man, you're being a bitch, or stop acting so stupid. Like that just is effective for me. Right. But, Bruce Lee's point was, don't be careful with how you say things to yourself, because, you're basically, your soul, your body doesn't know the difference. And, there's a reason why with words we call it spelling, because we're casting spells. So there's something there. I'm not perfect at it. And, I've kind of trying to learn me and everything like that. But I guess my point is, let's strive to be the best we can. But perfection is just not going to happen, even in the document that people die for. right? 27 amendments. That's 27. Oh shit, let me change something right quick. That's 27 of those. You know what I'm saying? So give yourself a little bit of grace there. And then listen to Theo Vaughn. That's where I heard it from, but I want to share this. Nothing changes if nothing changes. I posted recently, this weekend, I think today actually is 5 years sober, no alcohol. I have to say a big thank you to my life partner for loving me through the days of good and bad on that subject, and there of what led up to that change, and those who have loved me unconditionally. No conditions. No, what have you done for me lately? Or no, you make me proud, so I love you right now. No, just loving me, and I just say thank you for that. Unconditional love. If you're in a relationship, listen to Can You Stand the Rain? New edition, right? Says it all. But that same principles apply to all relationships. On a perfect day, I know that I can count on you, right? Johnny Gill, right? But when that's not possible, what then? Can you stay in the rain of life, of enduring with people? And my partner has, she got a great umbrella. Let's put it like that. And I tell her thank you. So big shout out and thank you to her. And also I want to say thank you to those who have obviously also loved me, but friends and stuff that they go, what? You don't do that no more? And they still accept me and understand that's what's best for me, because there's literally a clear line of before and after of my life and where I'm at now and where I was before and where I was heading, and self-medicating and things of that nature and seeking therapy. And nothing is perfect right now, but it is better. And I also want to say thank you to Kevin O'Hara and S from habitsv2.com. Habits V2, and I love the V because like the victory 2, version 2, you can keep going with the V's, but it's to be the best possible version of yourself is what the man talks about. I'm not alcoholic. If I was obese and then I got slim, would I still say I'm obese? No. So I have some issues with things, and I'm addicted by nature, and I just need to know the right things to be addicted to, and the things that are going to make me a better version of myself. Maybe you're like that as well, because maybe you just didn't know that it's just something you do all the time. It's just the way it's been, but it isn't the way it's always got to be. And that's where I say the line from Theo Vaughn that I heard: nothing changes if nothing changes. Nothing changes if nothing changes, right? So just think about that. And, some people, they're like, well, I need to turn it down a little bit. I teach their own, man. If you can have two, that's good for you. But I wouldn't. Before I start drinking, I would be like, yeah, I'm going to have two. But with that person who drinks two is not going to do that. It's just not going to happen. What do they say? Once too many, and more than that is not enough, or some shit like that. So it's just knowing yourself, right? And knowing how to deal with your crazy self. That's a leadership principle: know yourself and seek self-improvement. But for me, it's knowing myself and knowing how to deal with my crazy ass self. So it's best that I'll do that. How about that shit, right? And the shame and the guilt, I posted the other day. It was one of the biggest videos or biggest perspectives that Kevin O'Hara had expressed about the lack of shame and guilt after. I don't really have to wake up on Sundays and apologize to anybody, anything. I'm a very sensitive person. I have a deep level of empathy, and feelings mean a lot to me, and how you say things, and just, and I think I'm a people pleaser by heart. So I'm trying to learn how to get better at that. But, yeah, I just want other people to be happy. So when I feel like I don't do that, or I shame myself, alcohol just takes me to a whole nother level of that. And I just feel so fucking stupid. And as many times while drinking is where suicidal ideations came up. And actually the next day in the hangovers, because I feel so low and so regretful and so shameful. So just if that applies to you, I heard Jordan Peterson say it one time. He was like, how do you know if you have a drinking problem? Drinking is causing problems in your life, period. You have a drinking problem. It's causing problems in your life. So take that as you will. But I'll tell you this, I would not be reaching anywhere close to the potential I'm reaching now in life, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, personally, just anything else with some LOYs. Okay. It didn't help me be a better version of myself, and that's teach their own. I'm not going to try to go out there and save people or evangelize, but you know what you know, and you know if shit ain't right. So switch some shit up, and if they hate, then let them hate, and watch your progress and potential pile up. Oh, I stole that shit from Kanye. What's up? And then I love Chaz Palminteri from A Bronx Tale. That's a great movie if you ain't never watched it. I know I've talked about it on here before, but he said he has a little podcast now too, so it's really good stuff. But Chaz has said that you cannot change your life unless you change something. If you always do what you always did, you always get what you always got. I'll post that link in there because I don't want to take credit for these people, but that's just it's just the definition of insanity right there. If you always do what you always done, you always get what you always got. So sometimes you got to switch some shit up, man. Switch some shit up, woman, man, friend, sir, ma'am, whoever you are listening. If you don't like what the fuck is happening or who you're being, then switch some shit up. Do your best to do that. All right. And I'm not speaking from a pulpit of perfection by any fucking means. I'm just trying to be real and be raw and be vulnerable. And hopefully you can see that I'm not perfect. And I've went to all of those depths of not good before. And you have to stay ahead of yourself. You just do. You have to stay ahead of yourself. And it's a brick by brick game, boring brick game at that. But I could tell you I would not be who I am right now if I'd have kept drinking. Let's put it like that. But then there's still work to do, right? There's still work to do. Kevin talks about it, stopping the flow, doing the work. And you got to keep going. You got to keep growing, right? So there's that right there. But I do want to read to you a post I made. And this is for anybody searching for, some purpose, because we need it in this life. We need it. We need it. Let me just read this to you. I posted this on April 7th. And some people said it was really long, but you know what? That's just what it is. Okay. I'm long winded and it just is what it is, but I'm going to give my heart on this. And I'm not a recruiter, but if you're out there, you're looking for something to serve that's bigger than you, consider armed services. Consider it. We need good people right now. We do. I've had some closest to me answer that call, and I'm very thankful for them and others that do it, because without them, we got nothing. And we don't serve an elected official. We serve and protect that Constitution together, right? And I've met a lot of great people in this. I met a lot of bad people too. That's just God's honest truth. But I've met more good than bad. So anyway, this is what I said. I said, bottom line up front, if you want purpose, consider real service. We are in need of good and unselfish people who are willing to serve and protect our nation. Someone has got to do it. Why not you? Why not me? And I share all of this today, not to brag to you, but to express gratitude to, as I've said before, the Commonwealth Challenge Program, the Youth Academy, I think they call it now, and to my beloved United States Marine Corps for taking a chance on a kid who had not always been honest, loyal, courageous, real, unselfish, nor tough by any means. I think maybe I tried to be tough at times at best, but I think I only did that probably when it was convenient, if I'm being totally honest and real. So I've been bullied. I've been called ugly, shit on, spit on, punked down, shamed. I've quit sports teams. I've been undependable. I'm an ugly duckling, and I've been insecure, and I'm still insecure in many ways, and I'm still trying to figure it all the fuck out. And I am still so far from perfect. I still got work to do on me, as we are all a work in progress. And also, I talked about the shout out to this gentleman who expressed himself. Look, I'm not a recruiter. I'm just sharing my 2 cents. And please share this with someone who may need to read it. I fully realize before anybody comes with the au contraires, I fully realize that we all have had our own experiences. I'm just sharing mine. First Amendment, I help defend it, so I'll try to use it for positive. So with the utmost tact and respect, I say the following. I am a high school dropout who only finished middle school, teach their own. But I joined the United States Marine Corps with a literal death wish after watching our towers fall. I'd have rather died for something than to continue living for nothing, which is what I was feeling like I was doing. And some 20 years later, I ended up finding a life I never thought I deserved. I would also, in no way, shape, or form, be who I am without the Marine Corps and service. And I definitely wouldn't be who I am without my fellow Marines and my sailors. I thank you all, sincerely. Thank you to the Commonwealth Challenge that saved my life and gave me a foundation to seek a better life. The Commonwealth Challenge Youth Academy. Dream, believe, achieve, is what they say. Through the challenge program, I learned from great mentors, Staff Sergeant Taylor, Corporal Phillips, then Chief Petty Officer Petty, Staff Sergeant Jay, Staff Sergeant Dakia, Staff Sergeant Kabah, and Tech Sergeant Hampton, and so many other humble services from the challenge staff. They are real warriors. If you know anybody that works in those programs across the nation, please tell them thank you. They are real warriors who've sacrificed and continue to sacrifice their time for others and for the future of our nation, our people. I didn't show that full appreciation always then, and I wish I could look you up, Chief Petty Officer Petty, and some of y'all. I didn't always show that full appreciation to you like I should have back then. But let me tell you right now, I'm forever grateful for all of you that I named above and so many more from that program. And I'm sincerely sorry for ever being ungrateful or disrespectful. I'm sorry. I was young and stupid, but I should have known better. Through the challenge program in 2002, I was able to get my GED after only finishing middle school, right? I finished 8th grade and I was a technical high school dropout. 21 years later, I'm a different human. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a decent citizen, I think, who happens to have served in the United States Marine Corps, some of the best humans I've ever known and warriors I've ever known. And I say again, I would also in no way, shape, or form be who I am without that Marine Corps. And most of all, I would not have met all the great warriors and humans I have in my life now. There are too many to name. There are too many to name, to be 100% honest. But I love y'all, and I mean that. Blood makes you related, but love makes you family. That's from Angel Robles. My brother, I love you. And guy I served with overseas and in garrison in North Carolina, and he went on to be a firefighter in New York City. So, and his bride is also. So it's just amazing, just servants. And I also wouldn't know the me, I wouldn't be the me I am without all the people that I just named off. I simply wouldn't. Also, without the Marine Corps, let me tell y'all this too. For anybody that thinks we come in here and we just get broken, I wrote this. I wouldn't have known I had PTSD, depression, and some other acronyms that end in D, if not for the USMC. And here's the kicker. Those who have helped me in the medical arena flat out said to me I have PTSD and some of my other Ds, not from the time I served in the Marine Corps, but from my childhood, right? So that's my truth. Without the United States Marine Corps, I'd be even more lost and probably not medicated like I am now, and y'all could probably tell, nor would I have gotten the therapy and help that I've received. So, contrary to the unfair and negative perception of military service and being the direct causation of mental illness, the USMC, the United States Marine Corps, the DOD did not break me. They helped make me who I am today. Every day in service has not been perfect, and nor have I always been led with perfection or by perfect people. Everyone in service has not been perfect, and it's not led by all perfect people, not by any means. And honestly, nor have I been perfect, and nor am I still anywhere close to perfect today. Nope, not at all. I'm just sharing my experience right now on this show, and I shared this on this post because somebody might need to hear it. Somebody you know may need to hear it. The challenge program took me in, and through them and their staff, I grew. I got a second chance. And then the United States Marine Corps gave me even more chances. All chances that I probably didn't and don't deserve, if I'm being honest. And for the record, I was such a garbage-ass recruit in boot camp. I was an unk on the rifle range, and I only did 12 pull-ups on my final PFT. Lots changed since then. You know how? Because of mentors. Chances, time, and consistency. You don't have to be perfect to join and start your journey. And I even said in this write-up, look, before I turn this into a podcast, but here I am on a podcast reading it. But anyway, y'all know me. I said, look, before I continue to turn this into a podcast, this is what I'm trying to say today as I reflect on the Warriors Facebook reel provided below at the end of my rant. To each their own, but to anyone, especially our youth, searching for purpose, searching for a solid foundation in life, a chance to be a part of something bigger than you. Well, I'd advise you to take a second and consider joining the United States Marine Corps. Yes, it's hard, but if my dumb and weak self could do it, anyone can, and you can too. Also, that said, you know what's really hard in life? Do y'all know what's really hard in life? It's never knowing what you could have done and or living with regret. I love Nick Saban. Some people hate him, but I love him so much. But there's two pains in life. There's the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Think about that, right? That's what's really hard in life. And to quote our CMC, I put right here, Commandant of the Marine Corps, we became Marines to do hard things. So furthermore, if you want to serve a bigger purpose, to me, that's what life is all about. Service. It's about being a victor, not a victim. Being a help, not a hurt. Going external, not internal. And I'm telling you right fucking now, you can find that in our Marine Corps. But again, teach their own. I initially joined this organization searching for death, but I found life that I never knew could be possible. Not perfect, but possible. And always worth it. But that's just my experience thus far, so I'm not trying to speak for all veterans or all Marines or anything like that. Y'all hear me, okay? Please, I don't need that. I'm speaking for me, okay? Please also know that I'm not special by any means. I'm far from it. I know I have to still earn it. I have to still earn it every single fucking day. I have never arrived nor have I ever made it. Ever. None of us have. I hear people say, I did my time, I've made it. You ain't made shit. None of us have. We're all still trying to figure it out every single day. Don't go with that mentality. You're going to push people away and you're going to be out of touch. You're going to be oot. Don't be a fucking leader who's oot, out of touch. Stay humble, stay hungry. Much love to you all. I hope this post of honest expression and gratitude can help point some young person in the right direction onto a better path. I'm not a recovering. I'm not a recruiter. That's what I meant to say. I'm not a recruiter. I'm not a recruiter. But what I am is a recovering lost kid who found purpose and a tribe to belong to. And I now belong to something way, way, way bigger than me. The key messages in all of this is this. Purpose isn't found in your feed. It's revealed in your fight. If you want to find purpose and belonging to a common cause, to service to our nation, think about it. Give it some consideration. All right. I know it's kind of all over the place. I was reading something and I was reading in a reference to this Chief Warrant Officer 3. I'll post a video in the show notes here. It'll be a Divots link. And it'll say video 766915, and I'll put next to it Chief Warrant Officer 3 Marine Warrior. But he expressed himself just in reflecting on, his life before service and them taking a chance on him. So I know that was messy. I try to be a little bit more professional in my production of this show, but I always just do it in one take. I don't believe in a whole bunch of takes and let's edit here. Let's fix this there. I mean, if you want to hear it, cool. If you don't, you won't. But I wanted to read that to you because some of y'all don't follow me on social media, and that's cool. I'm not saying you have to, but you might not have been aware of that. But somebody might need to hear that. You might know somebody in your circle, right? In your circle, right? What can you do to promote world peace? Mother Teresa said to go home and love your family. So what can you do to help the cause? I don't know. Go love your people. Go take care of your people. Try to bring out their best. And try to stay ahead of shit before it gets out of control. And I'm saying that to myself as well. Let's focus on our self-care. Let's try to be better. Let's try to be a light in this dark that is out here. I think about a song by READINESS called One Life. And they said we only got one life, so I'm going to live mine. I've got my story to tell to the people out there. For anyone listening, we only got one life. So I'll be a light in the dark. And he said, I've been the one who's lost. Yeah, we all got work to do. Can you see the angry child inside, hating on what they put him through? I want to set the record straight. Life is full of tragedy, but your reaction is the difference. And the difference is the reason that you live in hell or in harmony. That's Epictetus 101 right there. You heard that? He said, life is full of tragedy, but your reaction is the difference. And the difference is the reason that you live in hell or harmony. That's a song from READINESS. And it featured another artist too, so sorry for not giving credit to that. I didn't write it down. But READINESS, One Life. Really good vibes to that song. But let's just try to be our best selves and help others. We're here anyway. We might as well. I hope that I've shared something with y'all today that's helpful. Check out that Marine Corps Warfighter Mental Readiness Playbook. I'm going to take a break from this show for a little bit. I'm going to take a break from a lot of stuff for a little bit. I think there's enough content out there to keep everybody going. I've talked about a lot of subjects on here, but I need to practice what I preach and focus on some self-care, and so I don't get burnt out and lack empathy. But I make this show totally from the heart. I really do. Always have since I started it. And I just anybody out there listening who's been loyal to listening, hey, thank you. I know I'm not perfect. I cuss. I sound unprofessional and all that shit. Look, man, I'm just trying to be fucking real. And if you're offended by bad words, okay, don't listen. But you know what really fucking offends me is lazy fucking leaders who don't take the time to give a fuck about their people. You know what really offends me is all the bad things that happen that we can't take back. Like deaths by suicide and people hurting each other sexually and people hurt each other physically and abuse. That's what fucking offends me. So that ain't for you. Don't listen. I don't care. But are you part of the problem? All those things I just listed, or are you part of the solution? Because I know a lot of people that talk real pretty but are really fucking ugly in their soul. So I don't really care. I hope this is helping someone. I really do. I want to end on a positive note because life is full of tragedy. But your reaction is the difference, and the difference is the reason that you live in hell or harmony. Y'all lucky I didn't sing that because it sounds really good. You should check it out. One Life by Ayaterra. Great song. Hey, hit me up if I could be there for you. Please continue to do your best that you can to be there for each other. Pain shared is pain divided. Reach out. Sergeant Major Reed said this recently. He said, give us one more chance. Reach out. Give people one more chance around you. So if you're in that storm right now, give the people around you one more chance. Sometimes they just don't know. They just don't know, man. We all get so busy and everything's so fucking crazy, man. It's a hectic time. Or if it's not, we make it hectic on ourselves, right? So you could just have blind spots. You might not see stuff. And as good intention or well-intentioned or good-hearted people are, man, we all got our own shit we're trying to figure out. We're trying to deal with. Robin Williams, everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. So be kind, right? And realize like everybody's fighting a battle we know nothing about. And help us help you, right? Like speak up. Like people aren't mind readers, dude. Like just can't fucking read minds, We do have to apply some personal resilience. But we also got to, try and try to reach out and help people help us. Speak your mind, express yourself. If you're a leader out there or you're somebody who influences a certain environment, try to foster an environment where people can express themselves. There's obviously a time and a place, everybody. Don't hear me wrong. We can't just show up to work when everything's so busy and be like, everybody, I'm sad. It can't be like that. But we got to make it a priority to find time to make time. And we always make time for the things we make time for. That's just what it is. Don't say I don't have time. Just say that's not a priority for me. Right? Because we always make time for the things that are priority. And to the point where I first opened up for anybody out there that's in any kind of supervisory leadership position, look, when it comes to all this shit, you might go, this is happy-go-lucky talk. Fuck this. This is so soft. This fucking, 2024 world we're living in. Look, the only difference between now and any other time before is that we're talking about it now and there's more people, so there's going to be more stuff. And we have a better way of conveying things. Look, don't use that generational shit. Meet people where they're at. Try to make them the best you can where they're at, right? You push a lot of people away with that generational shit. Well, my generation, my time, man, we've been hearing that shit since the beginning of time. Every fucking generation grows old enough to see the younger generation come up and say that their music sucks, they're weak and soft, and their clothes are weird, and get off my grass. Like, don't be a fucking Uncle Rico talking about what you did do. Meet them where they're at. Try to make the best of it where you can right now. And that might be the only reason why you're there. Who knows, right? But each one, reach one, teach one. And we always say, if I could just reach one, right? So do your best to do that. But also, if you're that one that needs help, you got to help us help you too. Like, it can't just be all on the people and it's all their fault if they don't see it, right? So it takes a team. It takes a village, okay? I'm going to go ahead and leave on the notes of Monchichi Rex. But like I always say, man, on this show, we are sponsored by no fucking body. Nobody, right? It's just, I don't believe in it. I'm not doing it. I'm not monetizing this. This is all from the heart. This is heart work, as Coach Chan said. I hope it's helping somebody. If it is, please share it. And if you ever want to be a guest, I say this all the time. Just please let me know. I'm not gonna invite hate speech or anything that's just completely out there, right? But I do think that we all have our own experiences. And if you're 5 or 85, you have something to contribute in the subject of resilience. And how did you endure and how did you grow? Or how are you still growing and enduring things? Because we're not perfect, right? I'm rambling. I'm ranting. I appreciate you. Thank you. And thank you to those we've lost. And let's honor them every single day. All right? Appreciate you. And as I always say, this show is sponsored by nobody, baby. Make good choices. Be there for each other. Oh, y'all thought I was done? I was just letting y'all listen to the song. Don't you like it? It's good, right? On TC Rex, Second Winds. Check it out. Oh, what? Oh, yeah. For real, though. Make good choices.